In this video, I'll be talking about second learning objective of this chapter, define alternatives for wording, open-ended and fixed alternative questions. So we have these two alternatives for writing a question, open-ended response questions and fixed alternative questions. I think all of you understand what we mean by them. Open-ended response question or simply open-ended questions are such type of question that you ask a question, you provide some space, and you ask your respondents to write down their answers in their own words. So you do not provide any alternative answers. Respondents provide their own answers. On the other hand, fixed alternative questions are such that you ask a question, you provide some alternative answers, and you ask your respondents to choose one of the alternative answers. For example, in what way, if any, could this product be changed or improved? I would like you to tell me anything you can think of, no matter how minor it seems. What things do you like most about working for Federal Express? What do you like least? These questions are example of open-ended questions. You ask questions and you ask your respondents to answer in their own words. Now look at these examples. Would you say that labor quality in Japan is higher, about the same, or not as good as it was 10 years ago? Higher, about the same, not as good. Do you think the Renewable Energy Partnership Program has affected your business? Yes, for the better, not specially, yes, for the worse. So these questions are examples of fixed alternative questions. You ask questions, you provide alternative answers, and you ask your respondents to choose one of the answers. Now, what are the advantages and disadvantages of this type of questions? You understand that each type of questions will have its own advantage and disadvantage. Can you think so? Okay, so first of all is open-ended response questions. Open-ended response questions are particularly suitable when we do exploratory research. If we can remember, in the last lecture, we learned that exploratory researches are conducted when researcher does not have very good idea about the research objective, does not have very good idea about the research situation. In that case, exploratory research is conducted to clarify the ambiguity. Exploratory research is conducted to write down a very clear research objective. So in this case, open-ended questions are more suitable because researcher may not be even very clear about how alternative answers can be written. This is the first advantage. Second advantage is, since you are not providing any alternative answers, you may expect to get some unanticipated answers. You are not restricting your respondents, so respondents can provide any answer they think matches the question. And an open-ended question at the start of the questionnaire may be a good warm-up for the respondent. However, there are some disadvantages as well. Since there is no alternative answers, respondents are providing answers in their own words, that there can be large range of answers, so it will require more time and money to administer these answers. Also, these answers may be interpreted by the researcher. As a result, that can introduce some interviewer bias. That also is related to long answers. Long answers can introduce some bias as well. Fixed alternative question, on the other hand, provides some alternative answers. So it requires less interviewer skill. It is easier for the respondents to answer, and it's also less time consuming. It also, answers can be compared. However, answer might not be comparable in the case of open-ended question answers because different respondents may provide completely different answers. Fixed alternative questions also have some disadvantage. For example, you are restricting your respondents, so they cannot answer anything they want. And also, sometimes respondents may like to choose the most convenient answers. There are four, I think, different types of fixed alternative questions: simple dichotomy question, determinant choice question, then frequency determination question, and last of all, checklist question. So first of all is simple dichotomy question. Simple dichotomy question means there will be just two answers and respondent will choose one of them. For example, did you have any overnight travel for work-related activities last month? Yes, no. So respondents are asked to choose one of the answers. This is simple dichotomy question. Second one is determinant choice question. This is a typical fixed alternative question where there will be more than two answers and respondents will be choosing one of the answers. For example, please give us some information about your flight. In which section of the aircraft did you sit? First class, business class, coach class. More than two answers, respondent will choose one of them. Frequency determination question is somewhat related to the another type of question that we discussed in the last slide, that is determinant choice question. In this case, you have more than two answers, but this question is particularly applicable when you are asking about the frequency of occurring something. For example, how frequently do you watch MTV? Every day, 5 to 6 times a week, 2 to 4 times a week, once a week, less than once a week, never. So you are asking respondents to provide a frequency of occurring something. That's why it's called frequency determination question. And last of all, checklist question. In the case of checklist question, there will be alternative answers and respondents will be asked to choose all the relevant answers. That means one way this question is different from the other questions. In the other questions, respondent will be asked to choose only one of the answers, but in checklist question, respondent can choose more than one answers. For example, please check which, if any, of the following sources of information about investments you regularly use. Personal advice of your brokers, brokerage newsletters, brokerage research reports, investment advisory services, conversation with other investors, and so on. So respondent may use more than one, so respondent will choose what answers are relevant. So this is the end of Learning Objective 2. Please see the next video for a discussion on Learning Objective 3. Thank you.